class, we're talking about how to use your calculator to solve questions on matrix and vector. Matrix to be precise. So now let's consider the first question we have here. We're given a particular table. So we're told that a manufacturing unit produced three types of television sets, A, B, C. The following matrix shows the sales of TV sets in two different cities. So we're having we have the television set that they deals in, that's A, B, C, and here we have the necessary cities, that's city one and city two. So this is actually a table. We actually have to express it in form of a matrix. How do you do that? That's very, very simple. So just converting the table to a matrix. I believe you all know what matrix is, which talks about the array of numbers in rows and columns. So easily here, you can have the cities like city one, then you can also have what? City two. So in city one, the elements we have there include 400, 300, 200. So you record that. So 400, we have it here. 300, we have it here. And we also have 200. And for city two, we are having 300, 200. And these particular numbers here, there's actually messed up in the question. It should have been 100, not 150. So you should take note of that. So I can have 100, 200, and 300, as simple as that. So we've converted the table to a matrix. So next for us to do is to utilize the other information we have in the question. We are told that if the cost price of each set, that's ABC, is 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 respectively, in the sense of we're having the C, that's our cost, as 1,000, 2,000, and 3,000. And we're also giving that the selling price, that's our X, we're giving that as 1,500, 3,000, and 4,000. So we're told to find the total profits using matrix algebra only. Okay, as already know that our exam is actually like most times, if your exam is CBT, it might be only for you to actually show how you arrive at your answer. This is for like using calculator, right? So now back to this. Formula for profits, which we often regard to as pi, like the pi sign, is actually TR minus TC. TR in the sense of your total revenue minus your total cost. And your total revenue here is your cost times quantity. And your total cost here is your total revenue here is your sales rather, not your cost. Your total revenue is your sales, that's your selling price times quantity. And your total cost is your cost times quantity. As simple as that. And we're giving out our sales as this, right? And this is the respective quantity. So for me to have my TL, all you have to do is to recall my sales, which is this. That's 1,500, 3,000, and 4,000. Then the quantity, that's multiplied. So you can just use the brackets 400, 300, 300, 200, 200, 100. So assuming you're solving like theoretically, so for you to multiply here, we often do a sign like this, trying to show how it's being multiplied, but we won't actually have to go through all the stress. This is for like you can easily solve using your calculator, and that's one of the aim of this particular video. So how do you go about that? So first and foremost, I'll have to tell you guys, so how do you read the metrics? So before you actually input, you'll get to a stage where you ask for the dimension. When you hear the word dimension, it's talking about how you read in metrics. It's often read in form of row by column. I believe we might have come across this or see like M by N, in the sense of M represents numbers of row and N represent numbers of column. This is what I mean. It's trying by you have something like this: A, B, C, D. When A, B, C, D are elements in the matrix, so row goes in this direction, like your horizontal lines, and columns goes in this direction, in the sense of your vertical lines. So obviously here, you observe that we have two rows, like row one, row two, and we have two columns in the sense of column one and column two. So we call this 2 by 2 matrix, right? In the sense that it has two rows and two columns. So you should also know how you read your matrix. This part, you also be applying that knowledge if you are to solve using your calculator. So now over to this, you can call this our matrix A and call this our matrix B. Our objective is to have matrix A times matrix B, right? So first and foremost, let's start off with this. What is the dimension of this particular matrix? That is what you have to ask yourself, right? So let's start off. So we click on mode. Obviously, you can see your matrix here. That's 6. You click on 6. Then you call the first one matrix A. That's 1. You can see that it's asking for the dimension. So now that is where your interpretation comes in. So you observe that this particular matrix has only one rule, and it has three column, like column 1, column 2, and column 3. So it's often read as 1 by 3 matrix. So you actually have to look for 1 by 3. So if you look at the first section, nothing like that there, right? Just scroll down by pressing this particular arrow. So scrolling down, so you can see now for option 1, we now have the 1 by 3. So click on that. You can see it's now showing in this form. So record each of the elements there. So recording each of the elements there in the sense of the first one is 1 5. You have your 1 5. Then click on your equals to. You have your 3,000. Then your equals to. They also have your 4,000. Then your equals to. As simple as that. So there will be a little bit of notification here. Don't just click on your AC as you often do. Rather, you actually have to press your shifts and 1. So shift and 4. On top of 4, you see matrix there. So pressing shift and 4, so you can see here what you have is dim and data. So you just click on data. This is what I want to record matrix B elements. So you click on 2, that's data. Matrix A automatically are saved on your calculator, but it remains matrix B. So just click on 2. So now asking for the dimension again. So now back to matrix B, which is this. So obviously you observe that this is a 3 by 2 matrix. It has 3 rows and 2 columns. Row 1, row 2, row 3, column 1, column 2. So it's often read as 3 by 2 matrix. So which one is 3 by 2? That's option 2, right? So you click on that. So you can see it's not giving us that similar vibe. So now enter the necessary elements. You have your 400, you have your 300, your 300, your 200, your 200, and your 100. So as simple as that. So when you are done recording the elements in both matrix, so you can now click on your AC now, which I have this. Then when you are done with this, then you have your shifts and 4. That's matrix. Shifts and 4, giving you this. Then just click on matrix A. That's 3. That's this one. Then times. Now I'm looking for matrix B. Repeat the same step. That's your shifts and 4. Then matrix B. This. Then click on your equals to. You can see now we have the answer which was given in this form. So this here we're having it in this form, 2.3 million, and you can shift this particular stuff to the other side so to display it completely. And we're having 1.45 million. So those are what we're having. So for this particular question, we have to have a definite answer. The answer won't come in form of matrix notation. So if you or whenever you arrive here, just add up the two answers together to have your definite answer. So we'll still come back to this, but let's move on to how to get our total cost. As I've initially stated, your total cost is equal to your C times Q. The same step repeated here, we also repeat it find our total cost. So now let's start that. So for our total cost, we're having our C, which is 1,000, 2,000, and 3,000 respectively, multiplied by our quantities still remains the same, which are 400, 300, 300, 200, 200, and 100. So multiply again. So obviously here you observe that the matrix B is still the same, right? The only variation we have here is just matrix A. So just edit what you have in matrix A. Okay. So you can just have this. We have our mode, then we have 6, then matrix A or B. And as right now, this one is 1 by 3. So look for 1 by 3, that's option 1. Then edit it in sense of it's 1,000, 2,000, and we are having 3,000. So then you can also repeat that again, like your shifts. Okay, your shifts and 4, then data matrix B. Can see it's still the same, right? Like 400, 300, 300, 200, 200, 100. So there's no need for us to edit that. So just can just click on your AC now. Then you have your shift and 4 matrix A times shift and 4 matrix B, then equals to. Now you have our answer, which was given as 1.6 million. And so shift it to the other side to have your other, shift to the other side to have your, to see the other figure, which was 1 million. So as I've stated, we have to have a definite answer. So in the sense that we actually have to add up the two elements we have. So adding up two elements we have here, obviously, this will give me 2.6 million. And adding up the two elements I have when I was looking for my total cost, that should give me 3.75 million. That's by adding them up. So I remember was how we get our profits. We said that profit is equals to total revenue minus total cost. Our total revenue is 3.75 million and our total cost is 2.6 million. So all you just have to do here is to subtract. So that is by stating that 3.7 million minus 2.6 million. Then we have our answer, which is 1.15 million. As simple as that. So let's checkmate if we have that in the option. That's option A. As simple as that. Spell that again. Okay. So thanks for watching. Before I close,